Hello and welcome back to my reading log for March of 2025, and in this month I read a total of 29 volumes, which is 3 volumes more than I read last month. There's only 2 days this month where I didn't read anything. Every other day I at least read half a volume, although I did a pretty good job of managing to get through at least one full volume every day this month, apart from the 2 days I missed. So anyway, let's get to it. On the 1st of March, I read The Witch and the Beast Volume 2. I gave this 4 stars. I really liked this volume. I did a bit more than Volume 1. There was a storyline in this one that revolved around a couple of different characters who were not like the main two, and one of them was a necromancer, and it was like a mystery about people who are being revived illegally, because obviously necromancy is legal in this world, but only through specific means and stuff. And there's they try to figure out, find this an illegal necromancer who's illegally reviving the dead. Yeah, I really liked that storyline. And then there was another. It also finished off the storyline from the first volume with the supposed witch. And then it started up another one which involves this kind of organisation who also hunts witches. But yeah, I'm really enjoyed this one. I'm definitely going to continue it. I haven't got volumes 3 or 4 yet. I've got 5, so I'll have to pick those 2 up before I can read more. But yeah, I've been really liking this one, and I like the covers, and I also like how gothic the art style is too. Yeah, it's like action, mystery, gothic sort of style, and yeah, it was very good. Next, on the 2nd, I read Love Song by Keiko Nishi. This is 4 short stories by Keiko Nishi, and this is actually the second shoujo manga that is in a tankobon format that was ever published in English. The first one was 4 shoujo stories, which I have read that one as well. And I gave this 3.5 stars. Obviously this contained 4 short stories. I like some of the stories more than others. The first one was about... What was the first one again? The first one with the sisters. No, the first one's about a girl who's kind of abusing her boyfriend because she really doesn't understand much about love, and she doesn't think she loves him because she used to be in love with another girl, and then that girl moved away, and she hasn't really felt love since, and she's kind of just started dating this guy, but she doesn't really know whether she actually loves him or not, so she's been kind of abusing him. I think the second story was the one with the sisters, where it's like 3 sisters, this one, living in a villa by the sea, and this guy comes to stay with them, and they're telling the story of why they're there in the off season, because it's like a holiday villa, it's not their home. And that one was probably my favourite. That one had a bit of mystery to it as well. And then the next story was about a boy who has psychic powers, where whenever he touches somebody, he can instantly heal them, and he kind of gets famous for that. And that one was probably my least favourite, I would probably say. But that one was also the longest out of all the stories. And then the last story was The Skin of Her Heart, and this one was about a woman who's kind of living in a space colony who has been approached by her company's boss's son to because he's interested in her, and she's kind of figuring out if that's the life she really wants or if she wants more. Basically, that was probably my second favourite. So I put the one with the 3 sisters first, then that one, then the first one, and then the one with the boy with like hearing powers harassed. Yeah, overall I did quite enjoy these stories. Now that I've got 4 shoujo stories and Love Song, I am now hunting for the next shoujo manga that was released in English, which was Moto Hagio's AA Prime. So I'm now on the lookout for that one. I hope I can find it someday. This one took me quite a long time to come across. Here next, on the 3rd, I read Sakura Saku Volume 4. I gave this 3.5 stars as well. No, 4 stars? 4 stars. Yeah, I like Aosaki Sakura stuff. It's like high school romance drama. But you kind of know what you're getting from her series. They're all quite similar. But yeah, I enjoy her stuff. And I enjoy her art as well. I like the watercolour colours. But yeah, this volume, they did some camping. The majority of this volume was spent on a camping trip, and then there was some stuff with her best friend, who isn't on the cover, and we had like something revealed about her, which I obviously won't say because of spoilers. So it kind of focused on that, and obviously her relationship with Sakura is also improving and stuff, and yeah, it was a good volume. I kind of wasn't expecting the thing with the friend, because obviously I wouldn't have expected something like that from Aosaki Sakura, but apparently it's not actually the first time. Anyway, next, on the 4th, I read Pet Shop of Horrors Volume 1, and I gave this 3.5 stars. This is the re-release by 70s. I never read this when it came out originally because I wasn't really... I don't know when it came out originally, but I don't think I was reading manga at the time. I don't think so, because I think Tokyo Pop had already, like, gone under by the time I actually started reading manga, so I wouldn't have been able to get a hold of it. So this is a josei kind of horror supernatural manga that follows a pet shop that sells unusual pets. And this pet shop has like rules that you have to follow when you buy the pets, and if you break the rules then the pet shop is not liable for anything that happens to you or the pet. So it's kind of like episodic short stories and that follow Count D, who owns the pet shop, and the pets he like sells to people, and it follows the people who buy the pets, but also him and a police officer who also is kind of investigating the pet shop because of all the incidents that seem to involve it that have been happening. Like, there's one that was like a bird person, there's like a snake person, there was like a rabbit person, and then like a dog, like Doberman person, and the one was a dragon. And what was the last one again? I'm pretty sure there was... Oh, a cat. The last one was a cat. Yeah. So far, each chapter's been an individual story, but as connected by the character of Count D and the pet shop and the police officer. I don't know if it will continue to be like episodic as it goes on, or whether there will be a more overarching story come into it at some point. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was good. And the art is quite nice too. Obviously, it's kind of older, sort of shoujo art. But yeah, it was definitely intriguing, and I'm definitely going to be reading more of this one. Next, I didn't read anything on the 5th. I think I didn't read on the 5th because Jet was at the vet getting worm tablets, so I didn't have time. And then on the 6th, I read Outbride Volume 6, which I gave 3.5 stars. Obviously, this series is not good. I admit that this series is utter trash, but I enjoy it. Sometimes I just want to read trash smut. That is exactly what this is. And I probably shouldn't open it because this volume has stuff going on in it, revolving obviously the two characters on the front. They both kind of get a turn in this volume. I think yeah, I think she's gone all the way with 3 out of the 4 guys at this point. So yeah, if you don't know what the concept of Outbride is, there's this girl. She's in like some sort of like sleep, and she wakes up in the future where humanity's gone extinct and the world is populated by like these celestial beings, which are all like supernatural people, and the world is in danger, and there's like this big calamity coming, and the only way to stop it is to have her give birth to the babies of the 4 strongest members of each clan. So there's like the demon clan, this guy's a dragon god, and then he's like a animal people clan, and then there's like an angel. I can't stand the angel, he's my least favourite. So yeah, and she basically has to have sex with them all and have their babies, and she also needs their bodily fluids in order to stave off this like thing in the air that if she becomes too exposed to it, she'll die. So yeah, it's something, but I like it, and I know that it is not good, but yeah, the art style is actually very nice. If I can like show a page, the wolf guy is probably my favourite. So yeah, next on the 7th, I read Pink and Habanero Volume 2, and I gave this 5 stars. I absolutely love this high school romance. Like, Volume 1, Volume 2, I've loved them both so far, and I'm looking forward to reading more. So yeah, we follow a girl who has just recently started to attend high school, and her friend is like really popular, but so all the boys kind of hit on her friend and never on her. So she's kind of interested in finding a boyfriend in high school, but then she comes across this guy, and he's kind of prickly and a bit icy, and seems quite unfriendly, and she sees him at the train station like in a fight with somebody, and she kind of thinks, I want nothing to do with someone like that. But then she goes to this cafe that her friend recommended, and it turns out it was like a butler cafe, and he's one of the butlers who works in the cafe. So now she knows his secret, because the school that they attend doesn't allow them to have part-time jobs, so he can't let on that he has a part-time job, so she has to keep that secret for him, and it kind of brings them together, and she's starting to like him at this point. I don't know if he likes her back yet, but yeah, I absolutely love this manga so much, and if you want to read a high school romance, I would definitely recommend this one. It's great. It's definitely one of my new favourites. And next, on the 8th, I read Dogs and Punching Bags, which is it's a 2-in-1, but it's complete. I actually finished this all in one day, which is surprising, but it's not actually that wordy. It's Kari Ozaki. I really like her stuff. I gave this one 4 stars. This one's about a woman, I think she's in her 30s, who returns to her island home after the death of her father, who she was kind of had a bad relationship with. So she's moved back into the house where he lived, and she meets this younger guy who I think is about, I think he's 20, 21, something like that. So there is an age gap in this manga, but they are both adults. I'm pretty sure she is 30 and 30, 31, 32, something like that, and he is like, oh, she's 34, it says there. She's 34, and I think he's 21, 22, something like that, so they are both adults. And she's obviously meets him, and he's kind of treated kind of weirdly by the people on this island, and she kind of doesn't know why, and it's kind of like a coming of age sort of drama, kind of basically what Kari Ozaki writes, and it follows these 2 people, and now that they're on this island, and yeah, I really liked it. If you're a fan of Kari Ozaki, you will probably like this one, because it's her typical stuff. It was good. Also I just like her art too. But yeah, this was a good one. Obviously, it has the usual Kawasaki drama as well. Hello, Rowan. If you are familiar with her stuff, it always has some like more heavier themes in it. So yeah, that was Dogs and Punching Bags. Rowan. He's in the way. Come lie down. Come lie down. Good boy. I'm gonna have to shut the door again now he's opened it. Come lie down. Good boy. Go and lie down. Or just stand there then. And Rowan has just knocked the camera off. But I'm back. I will edit these two parts together. And what was I up to? The 9th. On the 9th, I read Love of Kill After the Fire, which is like the epilogue volume of Love of Kill. I gave this 4 stars. This obviously follows Chateau and Rianha after the end of the series and goes on to what they're doing now, and it was just like, it was a nice epilogue, like concluding some more stuff and showing where the characters are at now. And yeah, and the pug. The pug is cute in an ugly way, like pugs are. So yeah, can't really say much because obviously this is an epilogue and it would spoil the entire series. But yeah, it's just following what the characters are up to now, and it was very good. I'm glad that we released it in English because I was kind of afraid that they wouldn't, but they did. Okay, next I read 3 new Volume 1 shoujo series from 70s, obviously not all in one day. I read one on the 10th. On the 10th, I read Choking on Love, Volume 1. And I gave this one 4 stars. I really like this one. This is a college romance from Dessert magazine. We follow a girl who's, I think she's working in graphic design. Yeah, she's working in graphic design. And a guy who goes to the same like art school as her, and I think he's a painter. But he's also in this band, like a rock band. And they're both at this cafe where she works part-time, but she's taking a break to work on her like presentation for her art class. And she's like doing it on her computer, and he is with his bandmates, and they get a bit riled up. And he spills water over her computer and breaks it. So, as an apology, he has her come round to his house and use his computer to finish her project. And he kind of helps her make some like adjustments and stuff, and she gets praised for like the first time. And then they kind of grow closer, and he like asks her if she could help him and his band make a flyer for their new concert. So she kind of gets involved with them in that way. So yeah, I really like this one. It was good. Obviously, this is going to be one where, like, kind of like most dessert titles, like A Sign of Affection in the Cream Room at Dusk, when like the relationship's going to progress rather quickly, and I tend to prefer like more of a slow burn, but I don't particularly hate it when they get together early. I just rather have like a bit more build up to the like relationship, but I still really like this one, and it was still very good. Next, the next Kodansha title that's been released by Seven Seas is Glasses for the Chance of Delinquent, Volume 1, and I read this on the 11th, and I gave this one 4 stars as well. This is a high school romance between a girl and a former delinquent who is kind of still a bit of a delinquent, but he kind of keeps saying he's not, but he still acts like one, basically. And she meets him. She doesn't really have any friends, and she like has a difficult time making friends because she was kind of picked on in middle school, but now she's in high school, she's kind of changed her looks, and she's trying to like have like a high school debut where she's like becoming a different person, and she meets him because he's in the class, and he like stands up for her against some delinquents, and then they kind of start hanging out together because they both join a club together. I think it'll got a helpers club where they like help out around the school and stuff. And they both join this club and they kind of grow closer, and she's trying to help him get over his delinquent ways, and yeah, it was very good. This is also probably going to be another one where the relationship progresses quite fast. And the next one by 70s, like this one is not a Kodansha title. This one is Home Sweet Home, Volume 1, which I read on the 12th, and I also gave this one 4 stars. So I gave them all 4 stars, but I do have like a list of which one I like better. But this is by the author of Rainbow Days, which I did not really enjoy Rainbow Days, but I like this one. It's only 3 volumes, so it's going to be short. But this one follows a girl whose parents need to move away from work, but she's sick of moving around all the time and having to change schools. So her dad agrees that she can stay where she is now as long as she lives with his boss's daughter, because then like she won't be by herself. So it gets to the day where this girl's supposed to move in, and it turns out she's actually a boy. So now she's living alone in a house with a boy who is the same age as her. They both go to the same high school, and things go from there, and obviously she starts to fall for him. Because obviously he's nice to her, and like, and they kind of like build a friendship with the two of them living together. And then they start to like talk to each other at school as well. But yeah, this one's only 3 volumes. It's not going to be very long. But yeah, I would say that out of these 3, I probably like them the most. Like, I say I like Choking on Love the best. I'm dropping things. Then I would say Glasses with a Chance at Delinquent, and then Home Sweet Home. I will put them in that order. Which is the order I read them in. Next, on the 13th, I read My Name is Shingo, Volume 2, which I also gave 4 stars. I don't know if this is a 2-in-1 or not, but it is very thick, which I did manage to read the whole thing in one day, too. This is a sci-fi horror series by Kazuo Umezu, which follows this boy whose dad says one day, oh, the factory I work at is getting a robot to do all the machine work. And obviously this was written in the 80s, and for the 80s this robot is very groundbreaking in what it can do. By modern standards, this robot is just not something someone would maybe be that impressed by, because robots that put together parts on a conveyor belt are not that uncommon anymore. But by the 80s it was like revolutionary. So as of right now, the sci-fi elements are minimal compared to today. Back in the 80s it would have been like more sci-fi. But obviously the robot is starting to gain sentience, and obviously the sci-fi-ness is going to come into it more the more advanced this robot becomes. But yeah, this boy starts hanging out at his father's factory and like programming things into this robot along with this girl who he meets, and the robot starts to like recognize them and stuff, and then Robin, get down. And go on then. There's kind of strange storyline in the second half of this one where they decide, because the girl has to move away, that they want to get married and have a child even though they're like 11 years old. So they decide to fight at the top of Tokyo Tower, and it was very weird, but yeah, it didn't have much to do with the robot anyway. But yeah, I enjoyed this one and I'm looking forward to more. I do tend to enjoy Kazuo Umezu. Okay, next. On the 14th, I read I See Your Face Turned Away, Volume 3. 3. Yeah, 3. I gave this 4.5 stars. I really like this series. It's more drama than romance because all the romance is unrequited. Because that's what it's about. In this volume, we finally get to follow the final of the 4 characters, and we now know who he likes out of everybody because they all like somebody who likes somebody else, so all their love is unrequited. And yeah, it's a very good drama series. I'm kind of disappointed that it's on indefinite hiatus right now, and we don't know whether it's ever coming back after volume 4, but I still want to continue it just in case it does come back, and because I do really like it. But yeah, if you want a good drama, this is one to go for. So yeah, this volume contains the continuation of, these are the characters, and this volume contains the continuation of from her point of view, and then moves on to it being from his point of view for the remainder of the volume. So now we know who all the characters like and who they like, and yeah, it's very good. Next, on the 15th and then the 16th, I read Don't Quit Mystery. I read volume 11 on the 15th and then volume 12 on the 16th, and I gave them both, or this entire omnibus, 5 stars because I absolutely adore Don't Quit Mystery. It's my favourite Josei series ever. Like, I just love the mysteries. I love Toteno. Obviously, it's fantastic. The volume 11 contains like some shorter mysteries. Like, the first one was about a time capsule, and then there's one about figuring out how this little red ball got in his bag, and then there's one where it focuses more on Gallo, and then volume 12 starts a big long mystery which is still ongoing, which will continue into volume 13, so that one has not concluded yet. So I really need the next omnibus so I can see how that mystery concludes, and I have some like speculation as to who the culprit might be, but I'm not like 100% sure or anything. But yeah, I also watched the live action drama this month, which was very good, although I wasn't happy with the things they were doing with Rika in the drama. I think it's like her character like wasn't she wasn't made out to be as important in the drama as she is in the manga. I won't say why because obviously I don't want to spoil the drama or the manga, but obviously what happens in the drama with Rika doesn't happen in the manga, so but I don't want to spoil either. But yeah, other than that episode where they kind of did that thing with Rika, which I wasn't happy with, I enjoyed the drama. I also watched the movie and the special episode as well, and the special episode also covered the time capsule mystery from this volume, which is a good job I read this volume before I watched the episode. But none of the other content in this volume are covered in the drama, because the movie covers the inheritance case, which was way back at the beginning. But yeah, I really like the volume, I really like the drama. I liked who they got to play Toteno, he was very good. I wasn't keen on who they had playing Rika. But again, I think they messed up Rika altogether. Well, not at first, but when I think it was episode 9, I wasn't impressed with what they did. Because she's such an important character, and I don't know how they could have done what they did. But anyway, yeah. I love Don't Call It Mystery, and it's one of my favourites. And I will continue to definitely read more. But yeah, I'm really enjoying the mystery that's in volume 12 and wanted to see the conclusion. Anyway, after that, I read on the 17th, I Caught a Fuse S volume 4, which I gave 3.5 stars. This is the small, trashy smut. This time we have a girl who's training to be a mistress in order to pay back her dad's debt. And the one training her is this butler. So yeah, this one doesn't have as many smut scenes as outright, but they are there. You do still see nipple. Yeah, and the guy in this one's kind of an arse, but I'm still enjoying it for what it is, which is trashy smut. I really didn't expect much more from it though. Next, on the 17th? No, on the 18th, I read Cherry Magic 12, which I gave 4 stars. I'm very enjoying the stuff with the secondary couple that's been in these later volumes, because our main couple, kind of most of the stuff with them is coming to a conclusion now, and I'm enjoying more of the focus on the secondary couple because I do really like them as well. So yeah, we have stuff. I'm pretty sure the majority of this volume is the secondary couple, which I was quite happy with because I do enjoy them. But I think the series has ended now. I don't know with how many volumes. It might be like 15 or something like that. So yeah, I'm not that disappointed that it's ending, because I think it's about time that it did, because everything's kind of wrapping up now, especially with Adachi and Kurosawa. There's not much more story to tell with those two, so I think that's probably why they're focusing more on the secondary couple, because they still have some stuff left to do. But yeah, I enjoy Cherry Magic. But yeah, I'm kind of ready for it to wrap up now, because everything's kind of concluding. And I wouldn't want it to just drag on and on and on. Oops. I just hit it into the camera there. And next, on the 19th, I read more Steamship. I read Game Between the Suits Volume 5, which I gave 4 stars. This one is not quite as trashy as the other two. This one has a bit more of a story. And obviously this one is probably the least smutty out of the 3. And there is sex scenes, but they're more tame, basically. It's about 2 co-workers who are... both of them aren't really interested in having like a proper relationship, because she's had relationships in the past, but she cares more about her work, and he kind of bit of a player. And they decide to enter into this like game together where they just sleep with each other, and if either of them end up gaining feelings, then the game would end. Yeah, I really like this one. This is one of my favourite steamships out of all the ones I've read, which is most of them that are out pretty much, apart from some of the newer ones. But yeah, I really like this one. We continue to get... the story is progressing more now that we're in more of the later volumes. 5 isn't really that late into the series. But yeah, things are happening. There's some drama going on, and yeah, I'm really enjoying it. And I'm looking forward to what happens next. Now, on the 20th, I read My Girlfriend's Child Volume 6. I gave this 5 stars. I love the series. It's so good. This is a drama series about a teen pregnancy and how the girl is coping with the teen pregnancy and the decisions she has to make. And to do with like school and telling family and whether she wants to keep it or not, and like all the things that come along with having like basically an unwanted pregnancy as a teenager. And obviously her boyfriend is being very supportive of her. And it's a very great drama. It's quite realistic. And yeah, it's very good. They also do like informational parts at the end of the volume, talking with like different authors and like health specialists and stuff. This one contains an interview between the author of Perfect World and My Girlfriend's Child, kind of asking each other questions, and that, which was quite interesting. But yeah, I continue to love this series. It ends in 9 volumes, so there's 3 main story volumes left. And there's a 10th volume, which is just side stories, which I think is actually a backstory as to how these two actually first got together, as I think is one of the side stories in that volume. But I'm not sure what the rest of them are. But I'm pretty sure the story about how these two first met and became a couple is one of the stories in volume 10. But yeah, the main story ends at 9. There's 3 left to go, and it's a wonderful series. I would recommend it to anyone, especially if you're into like hard-hitting drama. Because it's not always like a fun time. There's a lot of stuff going on. I didn't read anything on the 21st. I can't remember why. It's possibly to do with Love and Deep Space and an event or something like that, but I do not recall. Anyway, on the 22nd, I read The Strange House Volume 2, which I gave 4.5 stars. This is a mystery horror, although it's not really that horror, series about floorplans, basically. This guy, he's like, I think he deals in like the supernatural or something like that, but it's nothing supernatural going on. But his friend is kind of a retailer, and he shows him these floor plans of this strange house, and because the floor plans are kind of weird, and he kind of points out why. And volume 1 was a lot of speculation into what could have been going on in that house, and why the house could have been built that way, and then they found a floor plan of like a second strange house. And they're speculating on that, and this second volume brings more like truth into it. It goes beyond speculation, and it starts to become more possibly of the reality of what's actually going on, and they learn more about the family that lived there, and it's very interesting. I'm definitely looking forward to reading more. It's very good. If you like a good mystery with some slight horror elements, although it's more like true crime than anything else, give this one a go. Even if you're like, if you can't handle horror, this one is very, very light on the horror. It's more just like an episode of like a true crime documentary. It's very good. Try to figure out what's possibly been going on in these houses and why they were built that way. Next, on the 23rd, I read That Time I Got Stuck to the Guy I Hate, which is a one-shot BL, which I gave 3 stars? Yeah, 3 stars. This one was decent. It was about two college roommates who hate each other. Well, at least our main guy hates his roommate. And one day they get stuck together. He falls on top of him. Their hands get stuck together and they can't separate. And they're like, how are we going to get unstuck? And then the other guy has a random thought as to, why don't we masturbate? If we masturbate, maybe we'll get unstuck. I have no idea how that thought even came into his head or why he even went there. Like, because when you get stuck together and you can't pull yourself apart, having a wank is the first thought that usually pops into your head. Anyway, they do that, and they ejaculate, and then they get unstuck. So he's like, oh, I guess the way to get unstuck is to ejaculate then. But yeah, then they find out they have to do it at the exact same time. So every time they're getting stuck together, they have to sneak off somewhere for a wank so they can get unstuck before anyone notices that they're stuck together. Which is quite amusing. But yeah. And it continues on like that until they kind of figure out the reason behind it. And then, yeah. It was interesting, definitely. And I enjoyed it enough. I gave it 3 stars. But yeah, if you want to read a BL with a bit more of a weird premise, then give this one a go. It was certainly something. I still don't know why that was the first thought that crossed his mind though. Anyway, on the 24th, I read Tsubaki Chow Lonely Planet Volume 8. I gave this one 4 stars. I like the series. I tend to enjoy most Mika Yamamori stuff. Although I haven't finished Daytime Shooting Star yet. But this volume also had another side story from Daytime Shooting Star in the back. Side story red. Last volume. Volume 7 had side story blue in the back. Which I haven't finished Daytime Shooting Star yet, so I didn't read this. I will go back and read it after I finish Daytime Shooting Star. The same as the Brew one, which I also didn't read. But yeah, it continues to be good. Like, things are happening with the couple, and this is an age gap though, and one of the characters is a teenager, so if you don't like age gaps revolving around teenagers dating adults, then definitely avoid this one. I don't particularly mind. Yeah, I enjoy it. But yeah, not much else to say about this one. It's good. Next, on the 25th, I read Spy Family Volume 12. This was another good volume of Spy Family. I love myself some Spy Family. It's always amusing. I like the chapter, especially where Yor got drunk and she went to have a drink with her workmates, and the four of them were sitting around chatting about their husbands, and they all had gripes about their husbands, and Yor didn't have any gripes about Lloyd, and they all got drunk. Yor especially got drunk, and now she gets into her head that she has to have gripes with Lloyd, or else she's not in a, or else her relationship would be suspicious. So she's trying to think of something that she can be annoyed at him for, but she can't really think of anything. But she's like, for the sake of my marriage, I have to be pissed off at him. It was quite funny. And I also like the one where Bond is competing with another dog in a contest, because everything that involves Bond is just cute. And then we got another like more serious story right at the end, which involves like a spy who's like stolen some important documents that Lloyd has to now go and get back. But yeah, I love a bit of Spy Family. And then on the 26th, I read Noragami 27, which I gave 4 stars. This is the final volume. I was okay with the ending. It wasn't the best ending, but I didn't hate it. But yeah, the story's finished now. I've been reading Noragami probably since I was like, when did the first volume of Noragami come out? I've been reading it for a long time anyway. Probably, I started reading manga when I was 15, and Noragami was like, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's like the 5th or 6th manga I started reading, because like, the first was Vampire Knight, then Blackbird, then Kami-sama Kiss, and Rinne, and then I think it was Seraph at the end and Noragami, quite close to each other, so it was like the 5th or the 6th one that I started reading. So it has been reading the series for a long time, and it's come to an end now, which is kind of sad because of how long I have actually been reading the series, but also I didn't want it to just keep going on indefinitely and just getting boring, basically. But yeah, I really like this cover as well. This cover's very nice. Adachi Toki has great art. But yeah, I was fine with the ending. I thought it wasn't the best, but it was okay. It was a decent enough ending. And obviously things were wrapped up with Yukine and stuff, and yeah, and the villain was dealt with, so I enjoyed it. It was a good read in all the years that I've been like collecting and reading it. Yeah, I'll just cover that page because could be spoilers, but yeah, the art is like very nice. Next, not many left now. On the 27th, I read How I Met My Soulmate, Volume 4. I gave this one 4 stars. This is another college romance, a bit like Choking on Love. This one's also from Dessert Magazine, but Kodansha actually publishes this one themselves. And it's about a girl who's in college and she wants to find her soulmate because she like believes in all of that, and she helps this guy out. She goes clubbing with her friend. It's not really her thing, but she agrees to go. And there's this guy there, and he's kind of drunk, and she like helps him out. And turns out he's like goes to her college, and he's like a dental student. And he agrees to help her find her soulmate as like paying her back for helping him in the club that day. But yeah, it's good. I enjoyed this one. There's also some stuff going on with his brother as well. This is his brother on the cover, which I've been quite interesting. And next, another new volume 1, which I read on the 28th, which is Victoria Many Faces volume 4. I enjoyed this one a lot more than I thought I would. This is a light novel adaptation of like a fantasy series. I think it's a shoujo. It might be a josei, but I think it's a shoujo. And obviously, a lot of light novel adaptations are villainess, and I don't really like villainess stuff because I don't really like the setting that they tend to be in. And a lot of like villainess inspired stuff tends to be in the same setting. But this one is not isekai, nor is it like villainess. This one follows, it is fantasy though, and it is in like a fantasy world. This one follows an ex-spy called, her name was Chloe when she was a spy, but she recently found out some information about her organisation and she wanted to get out. So she faked her death and moved to a new country and changed her name to Victoria to start a new life. And while there, she meets this young girl who is being abandoned by her mother on a bench, and she's just been left there. And Victoria decides, because this girl reminds her of herself and how she had to leave her family when she was young, she decides to take her in and like adopt her. And then she also gains the attention of this knight captain guy who seems to have gained an interest in her romantically and is like asking about places and stuff. And it was very cute. I really enjoyed it. And there seems to be some interesting stuff happening with her old employers that are going to come in future volumes, which I'm looking forward to seeing what happens. So yeah, I enjoyed this one a lot more than I thought I did. Thought I would. Yeah. So I wouldn't say it's like typical like villainous sort of setting. I did like this one a lot. And yeah, I'm definitely going to continue it because I was pleasantly surprised by how much I enjoyed it. Next, 3 more to go. On the 29th, I read Wild Roses and Pretenders Volume 1. I gave this 3.5 stars. This one was quite good. This is historical BL servant ex-master romance. Now you have this guy, and his mother-in-law is constantly on his case about finding a partner and getting married, and he's just sick of it because because of something that happened as a child, he doesn't believe in like love. He doesn't think he'll ever fall in love. So he hires this guy as a new servant, and then he's like kisses him suddenly in front of his mother-in-law, and he's like, I need you to pretend to be my lover while she's around so she leaves me alone. And he agrees because his mother's sick and he needs the money. And yeah, it progresses quite quickly, but it is only a 2-volume long series, so it's kind of expected. But yeah, I did actually really like it, and the art's nice as well. There is some. It is rated 17+. There is one sexual scene in this one, but there'll probably be more in the second one. But it's not that like graphic or anything. It's not like when I got stuck to the guy I hate terms of graphic. It's quite tame. But yeah, I really like this one, and I'm definitely going to pick up the second volume, which is the final one. And next, I read another BL on the 30th, which is, I gave 4 stars. This is probably my favourite BL I read this month. This is Be My Worst Nightmare, Volume 1. This series is complete at 10 volumes. So we have this guy, and he's very short, and he has like a complex about his height. And there's this very tall guy who also goes to his school and is in his class, and he thinks he's looking down on him, and he very dislikes him, but obviously he's not looking down on him. He just has like a stoic face, and he just randomly starts having these dreams about him out of nowhere, about him hugging him and doing things with him and talking to him about stuff that happened in school. And he's like wonders why he keeps having these dreams. But as it turns out, this guy has this pushy cat who he like has in his room, and he's like very important to him. And when he's entering these dreams, he's actually entering the cat. So everything that's happening in the dreams is actually happening. He's just inside of this plush cat and he's experiencing it whilst he's asleep. And he comes to realise this. And when he realises that what everything he's seeing is reality, it's not actually a dream, and he sees the guy pressuring himself to the thought of him, he realises that he has feelings for him, and they kind of start to go closer and become more friendly with each other. But yeah, this one was really good, and it had its funny moments and it had its cute moments, and I'm definitely looking forward to reading more. Obviously, other than the scene, it is rated mature, so there's probably going to be some more sexual stuff later on, but as at this first volume, there's just the one wank. And you don't really see much. And on the last day of the month, on the 31st, I read Your Former Volume 2, which I gave 4.5 stars. I really love Your Former. I loved Volume 1, which I read like 2 years ago because this volume took so bloody long to come out. And I didn't remember everything from the first volume, but as I was reading it kind of came back to me. But yeah, I enjoyed the second volume. We still trying to solve this mystery revolving around this virus that has been put into your former, which is like a thing that's been inserted into people's heads in order to, and they can store their memories in it. And she's an investigator, and she like reaps into the your former to go through their memories in order to solve crimes. And he's a robot called an amicus, and she has to team up with him because whenever she teams up with a human, she fries their brain because of just how good she is at processing information. So the only one who can like deal with that is an android. But she hates Amicus due to something that happened when she was a child, which is explained in this volume because we get her childhood backstory in this one. I'm pretty sure the mystery will be resolved in Volume 3 because Volume 3 is the final volume of the manga, which will probably cover the entirety of the first light novel, which I haven't read them yet, but they're on my shelf. I will read them at some point. I have a list. So yeah, very good sci-fi mystery series. It's just got an anime recently, which I will wait till it finishes before I start watching because I like to binge my anime rather than watch them weekly. It's just how I prefer to do it, so I tend to wait till they all come out and then watch it over like 2 days. So yeah, very looking forward to that and reading Volume 3, and this is just so good. And I definitely want to read the light novel at some point because I've got a list. And I kind of want to read another Yoro Sumino next. I'm still deciding. And I've still got Onyx Storm to read, which isn't a light novel, but it still needs to read. But yeah, loved it. Great. And that is everything I read in the month of March. And I don't have a haul yet because it's still in the post. But once it's arrived, I will be doing that. Even though it is April now, I did order this stuff in March. Just sci-fi can take its time to dispatch. So it is a March haul, even if it is happening in April. Because technically I bought it in March. Anyway, I'll see you then for that whenever it arrives. And I hope you enjoyed, and bye-bye.